Hi, this is Attila 16 and this is a video of DCS World, and this is with the module lock on Flamming Cliff Tree, and which means that it's pretty similar to lock on. It's just that it's much improved in terms of physics and everything, and missile are better and the graphic are much better, of course. And what I'll show you here is how to start this thing and how to destroy something with it. So I'll show you the different systems so that you can figure out how it works by yourself. And as I did before, I won't go into technical terms because I think that confuse people. Sometimes people, they make a tutorial that use all the acronym, and it's really irritating because you have no clue what they are talking about and it's confusing. So I'll do it very simply. So let's start it. And first thing you do, you close your canopy. So you click the left Control C, and that lower the canopy. And then you want to start your engines. So what you do, it's the right Alt key home and the right Control key home. Now, unlike the F-15C Warthog, you can start both engines at the same time. So that saves you a lot of time. Now there's a lot of buttons in this cockpit, but you are not forced to click anything of it because this is a simplified version. It's not as in-depth as F-15C. And let's see the important screen you have here. Of course, you have that central HUD which tell you most of the important thing you'll have to know. But then you have the radar, which is all those square down there, and then you have your different weapon loadout and that kind of stuff, which are down that screen at the bottom left. And then you have this system right there, which is something that detects incoming radar. So that system will tell you, there's that type of radar homing to you, and if somebody actually log on to you, it will identify it as being an immediate threat, and it will even sometimes detect a missile. So that's the important thing. Then down right you have fuel quantity, and once you start your engine, if it reaches 60 on the fuel flow, you're set to start. Now, if you don't have a rudder, not a rudder, but a throttle, you can increase power with page up, like this. Or if you have a throttle, it's much smoother. And as you start, you can use afterburn. That will make it very quick. And this plane really accelerate quickly. Now I'm in the air, and I can enter or raise the gears with J for golf. So gears are getting up, and there we go. I'm in the air. Okay, so you have the first mode in which you start with, which is navigation. You can activate it or cycle the different function of it using number 1. And in this you can cycle different waypoints using left control the key, which is just below enter. So you can use that, and that will cycle the waypoints. And the best way to actually find out where the waypoint is that compass all the way down. And as you can see, as I switch waypoints, this compass will turn around, and it will even tell you the range to the objective or that waypoint. Now that's the navigation mode. That's what matter about it. And what that means is that we can go to finding target now that we know how to navigate. So you click number 2, and now you see the circle appearing, and that means that I have currently AIM 7 missile which are activated. These are semi-active radar guided missile, which means that it's mostly your plane which is guiding that missile. And then I also have AIM 20C, which are similar to the AIM 7. The difference is that it actually has a radar on the missile, and it's able to track a target by itself. So you fire until it reach around 15 kilometers from the target. From there it's able to take care of itself and guide itself to the target, so that's really nice. And it's a fire and forget, so you can fire your missile. Once it's in range, you can pull back and go away, and the missile will do its job. Then I have AIM-9M, which is the most technological Sidewinder available in that specific plane in that game at the moment. And I also have AIM-9P, which are not as good because they cannot be fired on target from the front. They are not as effective. You really need to be behind the enemy to have a heat seeker following the enemy. And of course it's the same thing with the AIM-9, but the AIM-9 is better at actually targeting what's an incoming enemy. Okay, now let's go into activate the radar. So you click I, and you start into a scanning mode, which scan for the enemies. Simply you can move, you can see it move like that. And let's go to waypoint 1, which I believe is over there. Alright, also you can see here that I have 2 radar contact, and by radar contact I mean the enemy radar is locking onto me. Or not necessarily locking onto me, but I received 2 incoming radar. Which mean that there's fighter planes which are using MiG-29 technology in terms of radar. And that tells me the direction, which is practical to know. Okay, now my goal is to find enemies. And there's also a friendly. Let me show you what kind of planes are around. So you have these 2. You have these Su-27, which nearly had a mid-air collision there. And you have that friendly down there. So let's see if I'm actually able to find those different targets. Now the Su-27 are high, the 2 other are low, the 3 other are low actually. And here is how you identify a friendly. Now you can see here on my radar there's a circle. Circle are friendly. If I lock onto him, I can see a square with the target, and it tells me that I'm able to shoot it. But if you look closely, you can see that inside the square there's an X, and the X is actually telling you, hey look, that's a friendly, don't shoot it. So that's how you identify a friendly. Then that's for beyond visual range. But let's see if further, can I see further? I will increase the range. And I will try to scan further. Okay, now you can see that there's more targets which are getting closer. So let's lock onto them. And in this time, in the square, there's no indication that it's friendly. So I fire a missile. And what did I fire there? I fired an AIM-7, which is a semi-active tracking missile. So that means that my radar need to track the enemy to actually be able to hit the target. So I hit the target, and that's one down. Now let's try to switch the mode. I'll switch to number 3, which is in the vertical. And what that means is that it will lock on targets as long as it is vertical. And actually there's an Su-27 coming there. So I'll try to engage him. But Su-27 are usually much more maneuverable. But here is how you can actually identify that you're using the vertical thing. There's a bar which goes up. So that is how you identify it. Actually lost sight on the enemy. Oh, he's right there. Okay, he's likely coming toward me. And this mode will actually lock on to any target which goes in front of it, and as you can see, it did. So I will turn to have a good angle, because right now my Sidewinder probably won't manage to track because the turn of the Su-27 is too high. Alright, he's into the sun right now. So, as you can see, my Sidewinder locked on in the vertical once again, long before the target actually reached the center. I'll switch missile because Sidewinder has a too short range, and I will fire. What's that? I just fired an AIM-120C, which is tracking by your radar, but also tracking by itself. And you can see that it actually did hit the enemy. So the enemy is crashing, and now there seem to be. Okay, that's simply a parachute. Okay, so that's 2 enemy down. And the way I actually found them is by adjusting the angle of my radar, which you can do using, well, first of all, what I should explain first is you see that marker there moving around in the radar, or on the radar. This is the tool that you use to select target on the radar. And when you have, for example, a square which is an enemy on the radar, you simply click enter, and that will select that target. And yeah, that's what matters. And you can move it around with the double dot and the question mark and the comma. So you can move it around like that, and then you click enter, and that will select the target you chose. Now another thing which you can do with that radar is actually to increase the angle of your radar. So as you can see, there's 2 circle moving up and down, and I'm moving that with the right shift double dot and dot key. And this is actually the angle at which your radar is scanning. So sometimes you would like to move the radar higher or lower to actually find a target beyond visual range. So that's something which is important. And the further away you move your cursor like that, the longer range it will be. So at maximum range, the angle will be at maximum, but of course the accuracy of your radar is not as good. Now currently I'm on the main the default radar setting, which is I believe it's a single tracking target. So if you select the target, the radar will focus on it, and that's really good for semi-active missile, for example, like AIM-7, and also pretty good for AIM-120C. But the thing is that with these, you can actually let the missile do its job and track itself to the target. So with the AIM-7, single tracking and scanning target is the best, but there's another mode which is better to spot more enemies, and it's actually TWS, and you do that by clicking the right key Alt plus high, and as you can see down there, perhaps I'm now in TWS, and you can even notice right away that I spotted 2 targets. Actually, they disappeared. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm zooming in with plus and minus to have a good accuracy on them. And the advantage of TWS actually is that you can see the direction of the enemy on the radar without locking onto them, and also when you lock on a target, the target will not know that you lock it on to it, because it's mostly your computer, your plane computer, which is doing the job. So you can see here that I can select the target and it will not know that I actually selected it. So yeah, I'm selecting a boat now. And what that allows you to do is to actually fire on multiple target at once. So you fire on the first target. I use the name 120C, and then I can deselect the target and fire on somebody else. And anyway, with aim 20C, the missile will likely track the target by itself. So let's see. Now I only have one aim 7 remaining, and I guess can try to use it against one of the remaining enemy. So I will spot the enemy again. Okay, I think my aim 120C actually did not hit. So I'll fire my aim 7 on it, and this one requires you to use STT to be able to track a single target. And now normally it will hit. There you go. Now let's use number 4, which is bore mode, and it's another way to target a target. And the way it works is that it will target whatever is in front of you. Oh, let's slow down here. Let's not lose the target. So unlike vertical, there's no line in front of it. But on the other end, you'll be able to automatically lock on to anything which is in front of you. There's also another mode which is called flood. And flood will essentially lock on to anything which is in front of you, and it's mostly useful with aim 20C, but you can also use it with aim 9. And as you can see, it's a little more difficult to actually fire, but because it will likely lose the target, you really need to be near it. So I fired a missile. It did hit, but it did not destroy it. Whoa. It seems to be going down anyway. So that was another way to actually lock on a target. And the target seemed to be going down. And there you go. So that was another kill. And so that was with flood mode, but that required the target to be really in front of you. And with the aim 120C, you can actually fire on a target without really locking onto it, because the missile will track itself to it. So that is it for that. So you have done. Let's resume this. You go into with number 2. You go in beyond visual range, which is number 2, and then you activate your radar with I. And you'll try to find a target by adjusting the angle with those double circle which are moving, which indicate you the angle of your radar. And then you have number 3, which is vertical. It's very useful for close combat. Then you have number 4, which is bore mode, which will lock on to anything which is in front of you. But I will say it's not particularly useful. And then you have number 6, which is flood mode, and this will lock on to anything which is in front of you, as long as it's within the circle. So that was pretty much it. Now another useful key will be to drop those big fuel tank, and you do that clicking Alt R. And that will allow you more maneuverability in case you get into close combat. So that's something which is useful. And that's pretty much it. You have your air brakes, which is B. That's very useful to make hard turn, because you can slow down and turn harder, as you can see there. And I think that's pretty much it. That covers it all. Of course, you have the gun, which is useful, but you just have to lock on a target using number 3, and then you switch the gun using C. You click C, and that will put you in gun mode, and you'll be able to track the target fairly easily. And of course, shoot it down using the main trigger of your joystick. Okay, that's a weird sound. And that's it. I think I don't believe I forgot anything, and I hope that demystify a little the basic notion that you need to know in this game. And I'll see you on the next video. Make sure to like it.